Constitutional lawyer Kennedy Osunwa joins us on the news at 1 for an expert's view on this. Many thanks to you, Kennedy Osunwa, for joining us on this hour.
Thank you for having me.
From what we know, the attorneys general of the 6 states in the southwest are already meeting. Yes. Just to quote a statement coming from the attorney general, I think of Ekiti State, thereabout, I want to be sure of that. He said that the security operatives of Amotekun will be allowed, Ekiti State will be allowed to bear arms, sorry, not bear arms, to be allowed to make arrests. What is the constitutionality of that?
Well, I think that once the security outfit comes on board, they can make arrest, because even under our criminal jurisprudence, private persons can make arrest. Other unconventional bodies like LASMA and all what you have out there can equally make arrests.
But wouldn't they need to bear arms to do that? Because these are criminal cases.
But in making that arrest, it depends on the legal framework, like I said here some time ago. It depends on the legal framework. Like I said, there must be a legal framework establishing them. And that legal framework will arrogate powers to them on what to do when they arrest. Do they have the power to prosecute? And if they don't have power to prosecute, the enabling law establishing them will also provide inter alia who will prosecute the offenders they have arrested.
All right, I raised a question about bearing arms, which is one of the very sensitive issues when this was being discussed, whether they're allowed to, whether the Constitution allows them to bear arms or not. In your opinion, do you think that the Constitution allows them to bear arms?
No, now, looking at what is playing out, you can see that it's about 6 Western states that are coming together. And when you talk of arms and ammunition, it is under the exclusive list of the legislative list, which falls under the federal government. And it is not under the concurrent list where the state and the federal can make. Unless there is going to be a synergy or a law that has to pass through the National Assembly in order to empower them to carry arms. Because the issue of arms is item 2 under the legislative list, exclusive legislative list in part 2 of the 2nd schedule of the Constitution.
All right.
So if they need to carry arms, then when the 6 attorney generals, as they are meeting, when they meet up and come up with a law, then which means they will now have to sponsor a bill in the National Assembly for them to carry arms.
Let me ask you, because again, like we rightly stated earlier, they are already meeting, they've had their first meeting in Ibadan.
Yes.
What sort of administrative structure do you think they should draw? Because we know that a lot of states also now have their traffic management agency, which most times doesn't necessarily work with the federal road safety. They work independently sometimes.
Yes.
So what sort of administrative structure do you think they should draw up that was in a way that they can have that cordial relationship with the police?
Now that's why I am talking mainly and strictly on the law or the legal framework establishing them, because that legal framework will give room for this structure of the security, bearing in mind that, for instance, you mentioned road safety. You can see it right from the time road safety came on board. But today, when you see road safety men on the highways, you don't see them with arms. Okay? But now, since the governors has told us that this security outfit is going to also arrest and deal with security and also arrest criminals. And of course, you also know, when you look at item 45 of the exclusive legislative list under the 2nd schedule of the Constitution, that gives for policing and other security agencies. So in their structure, they must have a synergy with the police, before they can be integrated into the use of arm by the law that will be enacted or sponsored at the national level.
Kennedy Osunwa, constitutional lawyer, many thanks for your time.